This episode is brought to you by High Point Market. Welcome to the Design Dash podcast, your guide to designing a life you love. Join us as we explore the keys to living the life you want without compromise. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Design Dash podcast. I am your co-host, Melissa Grove, and I'm here with my co-host, Laura Umansky. Hello. And today we are joined by Jane Dagmi, which if you are a designer listening to this podcast, you know who Jane is. She is the managing director of High Point by Design, which is a movement that's reimagining High Point beyond market. And I have only been to High Point during market, and I'm so excited to hear about what happens outside of market because I never get anything done that I want to do when I'm actually there. Before that, Jane was the editor-in-chief of Designers Today, where she elevated the voices of designers and dug deep into real stories behind the business. So we'll talk a little bit about storytelling that today. But Jane's also worked with legacy brands like Benjamin Moore, Country Living. She's really shaped the way that we see and talk about design. I'd say she's a connector. She's a champion of creativity and really a tireless advocate for making design more accessible, engaging, and meaningful. So Jane, we're so excited to have you on the podcast today.
Oh my gosh, Melissa, I want that bio. That's the best bio I've ever heard. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, we're very happy to have you here. So we have to have a great bio because you are a great person. So I want to start first with the storytelling and design portion, because you spent a lot of your career telling other people's design stories. I think the first time that Laura and I met you was actually at Legends, long time ago, 2019, maybe.
Where'd you pull that from? Wow.
It was pre-COVID.
It was pre-COVID. I know everything. There's pre-COVID and there's post-COVID. So, a lot of our community, they're designers, and we're always talking about storytelling and how important that is. What makes a designer story truly compelling? Like, what makes it worth telling?
I'm so glad you asked me this because just yesterday I was talking to a group of designers who have not really gotten themselves in print very much. And we were talking about like how to get on panels and what's interesting. And, everybody has their own point of view. For me, as an editor and longtime storyteller, I have always championed the underdog, like not quite yet the celebrity designer. Like I love the process. I love the vulnerability. I think, just showing your real self and beyond, the hero moments of your career. Like like you have the cymbals in a symphony, right? And then you have like some notes and you're like, oh my gosh, I just picked up on like strings or something that's just so beautiful, but it's not quite distinguishable.
Yeah.
I like the in-between notes. Like that's what really turns me on. And so I try and tap into that. And I think why it makes a good story is people can relate to it.
Yeah. Yeah. So so let's think about like some of the narratives that are around interior design, because you've been in this space for a long time. Like, have you seen something change from like when you first started to where we are now? And what is relevant? What are people wanting to read?
Well, I do think that there is a cycle. I mean, because you've got at any given time in our industry, you have people who are wanting to, phase out and then you have emerging, right? So it's like, there's always something for everybody to sink their teeth into, I think. I look at kind of the, the content that goes on at High Point Market or, and it's just, well, AI is, at the top of everybody's list. I'll stay out of those conversations. It's not something that I really embrace in a way that I can help people understand it better. But technology is a big deal. But I still think simple things like, overwhelm, how to just, put one foot in front of the other. So I don't know. I really think it's, like in themes and stories, right? With heroes and challenges, and there's the arc of a story. I think there's an arc of our industry, and it's just new players get to put their 2 cents in. I like to shuffle the deck so you get to hear from different voices. I think that's exciting.
Yeah, I think it's really exciting. I mean, I feel like every time I turn around, there are new designers cropping up here in Houston. And you're right. I think that the thing that really makes it interesting is almost conflict, so to speak. Like, yeah, I want to see them overcome some challenges or pivot and say, I was working in corporate America and now I'm a designer and I'm doing fabulous. Like those stories are always really interesting to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yesterday in this group that I was working with, you know, we talked about the designers, the degree designers versus the, I just kind of did it myself. Like, that's always a good point of that's a good conversation. And yeah, there's a couple good things that just I don't know. I tried to get out of this industry at one point in my life, and I didn't because it's
Don't we
really,
all?
I mean, because I really love designers and I love the challenges and I love their scrappiness and I love how they serve people. It's a really noble profession.
Yeah.
I want to talk about, you mentioned like this life cycle. So there's the designers that are coming in, and this is industry also, but it's also micro with the individual designer. So there's the designers coming in, and then the designers that are at the end of their career or maybe pivoting to someone else, something else, like Godspeed if you got out of the industry. Good for you. But when we're talking, most of the people in our Design Dash community are in that middle. So they probably already started their firm, couple years in. They may be on their own, or they've got a larger firm and they're maybe 15 years in, 20 years in, like us. But we're in the middle of our careers. And so, from the perspective of working with some of these big brands in your career, like Ben Moore, I think you worked with, what are some of the takeaways from working with big brands that could help these scrappy designers that are in the middle of their careers? Like, what are some ideas that could help them really like stand out?
That's a loaded question. I'm like, oh my goodness.
And don't pull it from Ben Moore. Like, maybe there's nothing applicable. Like,
I mean, I blogged with them a long time ago, but I'm just, just hearing you talk about the middle designers, to me, that's just, it might sound like really simple and basic. And yeah, there's a lot of us in the middle, but like, that's an interesting place to be.
Yep.
Both looking ahead and looking back and like, what makes it sweet. I mean, you're kind of like, I look at the middles as like, well, like my 40s were like the best. I mean,
the middle's the best.
I mean, and I'm still, I consider myself still in the middle, even though I'm way out of the 40s. Gosh, I don't, you know what, Laura, that's something I have to think about. I mean, I'm just not, I can't.
I think like these scrappy designers, I feel like when we're in the middle, like Melissa said, there's always someone new coming up and there's someone ahead of us that's more established. So how do you like set yourself apart when there's all this newness or there's these big brands? Like, what are you looking for? That grit? Like, what is it that underdog? Like, what are we even doing?
Well, you have to ask that to yourself, right? Make sure like you are, you are good with yourself. You're true to yourself and who you are. And if there's anything that's kind of feels like it's
not authentic,
you should be. I mean, I've seen designers, I think at this point decide I've had enough of the client thing. Like I've heard from designers and, I'm not an editor anymore. It's not like I'm on the phone with them every week. There's a lot of weeks that go by that I don't have a conversation really with a designer, but I hear that clients are getting more difficult. And I think sometimes there's this like, like maybe I should, there are designers that have gone into the more of the PR marketing communication side because they're really maybe good at that. They don't want to deal with the other parts, but they know what their strong parts are. And so they could help other designers in that way. Or maybe they've had this great affiliation with some companies like a Benjamin Moore or whoever else. And they think maybe there's a place for me in that company. Or maybe I want to consult, try this, try that, and kind of just veer off a little bit and take your best.
It's that kind of mid-career, middle-age pivot.
Yeah. But, I mean, I love seeing designers like, that have taken I'm a designer, I don't necessarily care about licensing a collection or, I love what I do. I love my clients. We have impeccable testimonials and see it through till the end and maybe, sell their firm, give it to the next person create a
Mhm.
partnership. It's what I love. It's like the diversity of this industry. I
Yeah.
mean, it's really amazing. And then if you're in the middle, you know, you may have mentors ahead of you and you may be mentoring the emerging. So that gives you, you know, that sort of touch, that link in the
Mhm.
whole continuum.
Yeah. I think you have to be satisfied with your own path, how whatever that is,
Yeah.
because it's so easy. I think especially this is a very visual medium, right? So comparing yourself to other people is so easy now.
Oh
All I
my
have to
gosh,
do
it's
is
the
open up a
worst.
magazine or I open up Instagram or I see who's at High Point and social media and I just think, okay, why am I not doing that? Like why is our firm not doing that? It's like, well, because we're doing all of these other things that are great for us. And so it's but it is tricky. I do think that that's also why clients can become a little bit more difficult is because we are making things really accessible through social media and it's told through a very glamorous lens where you're not seeing the behind the scenes of what it's like to source, what it's like to problem solve, what it's like to hustle.
But that's your choice.
That's
I
true.
mean, I would probably tune in to see, you know, that, you know, to see somebody trudging through and everything. I
Mhm.
mean, I think that's the work, right? I
Yeah.
mean, I'm doing this for you, but I think that oh gosh, something you said. Yeah, you have to at the end of the day, like, you know, just know that you're on the right path and it's hard not to compare. I mean, like nobody like HPxD, there's nothing like it really any other place in our industry. I mean, it's kind of like a city initiative in a way, you know,
Mhm.
using design as the tool. But like I mean, I get on Instagram and, you know, it can make me feel good or bad, but it's tough. It's tough.
Let's
Yeah.
talk about HPXD
I
because
know. I want to know all about this.
this is such a cool concept because for what we've been going to High Point. I mean, Laura's been going for however
Oh my
long.
gosh.
I've been
Make
going
it
now.
sound so terrible.
Well,
Forever. I've been going since before the dawn of time.
and I've been going for the past 7 years, but
Me
every
too.
time that I've gone, I've only gone during market. I have no idea what the town looks like outside of market.
Mhm.
And I always leave market thinking, well, I wish I could have done this or I could have done that. Or I think now that I mean, this is not even related, but I think that now there are so many cool restaurants opening up in Greensboro. I'm like, well, I wish I could have seen that. Like there are these other things that
We're
I
gonna have to
really
just move there.
to do outside of market. So tell me about the initiative. Like tell other designers about
Well,
HPXD.
at first, I love that, you know, I love what you just said. And I love that Laura said, just move there because
Right?
I will tell you
It's a
that,
fantasy of mine because I love that part of the country.
well, when designers visit outside of the market, because that's when I really have time with them. One of the things that I hear the most often is, so how much is real estate? Or
Okay.
how do you have a good realtor? And I think it's because they get to slow down and
Yeah.
they get to really feel the vibe. And we had so okay, there's this analogy going around right now because we talk different people, our city, Hyper Market Authority, and more. We all talk about things and how things are going. High Point is to New Orleans as Market is to Mardi Gras.
Mm.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, you know, want to go to Mardi Gras. I mean, hello, right? But a lot of people find New Orleans very interesting
Mhm.
and they want to walk the streets and take it in. So that's a sort of analogy that's been going around. I didn't make it up, but I think it's really good for kind of understanding what goes on. So High Point outside of Market is quiet. You know, you might not see somebody walk on Commerce or Main or Wren. People are working in many showrooms. There are showroom managers. Places are open, but you know it's always good to like call ahead and make an appointment. But what we do, very simple, is we unite and promote the design scene in High Point year round. So the resources, what is available, we want to make sure it's accessible as much as we can, as you know, for companies that want to be accessible, that designers know that they can come back and do their sourcing and bring their clients, that students know that like we are the best learning lab for design, for you know, marketing, communications, visual merchandising, you know, fabric merchandising. Like students this is your, learning ground. So we just want to use the resources year round. And what that does for High Point is make High Point economically exciting and activated year round. I mean, like Market does incredible things for the North Carolina community, that economy and community. But there's plenty more business that can happen the other, 49, 48 weeks a year. So we had an event last week, or we do twice a year, we do a sale week, which, brings people in. And there were a few people that had never been to High Point outside of Market, some that had never been to High Point at all. One was a realtor. And I said, so Elle, we were in a branding workshop actually. So I got up there because we're kind of working on the brand of HPxD. What is it? I said, Elle, what do you think HPxD is? What are you feeling about High Point right now? And she said, community and connectedness. And then I asked a designer who has been to Market, who was here. I said, what do you feel? He said, it's personal. And so that gave me goosebumps. I mean, because that's what we want. That's what just comes naturally when you're here, when it's quiet. I mean, we get community at Market, right? That's a huge community.
That's the best part about it.
But it's just different. It's a different packaging. It's you don't have to pack, you don't have to think about all of the clothes you're going to pack when you come here outside of Market. We say come as you are. It's kind of like MTV versus MTV Unplugged.
Right.
Unplugged. And you can spend time with people. You can get good product knowledge and you're not racing. You can bring clients. It's slow sourcing.
If you're a designer, then you know that High Point is the epicenter for all things interior design. All your favorite furniture vendors are there, your favorite designers, manufacturers, tastemakers, trendsetters. Market happens every April and October, and we hope you'll register and attend. We're there each market, and we're always finding something new. We know you will too. Check out highpointmarket.org for more information.
Well, that sounds
Yeah, I
kind of
love
dreamy
that.
to have a slower pace because, man, when you're there for Market, I often feel like, gosh, what did I do? You have to go back your camera roll and try to remember because you're packing so much into 3-4 days.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much to do, here, any given week, you make your own schedule. If you wanted to come here, any designer that wants to come to High Point outside of Market time, they might call me. And the first thing that I'll say to them is look at the list of brands that we represent. So we're a membership organization. We operate we're a foundation as well as a membership organization. The membership organization, we have almost 50 brands that by being a member, they are saying, I want to be accessible. I want to be open. I'm ready to do business year round. And I want to support this movement. I believe in High Point, succeeding year round and having energy. So, I'll say to a designer, look at our list first and let me know what turns you on. Are you working with brands already? Do you want to meet new brands? What's your project? Because sometimes if they don't know the brand and they want to discover something new, if it's very modern, I'll guide them.
Okay.
My priority in having them visit any day is for them to have such a good time in High Point. Of course, I'm going to try and give them to our partners where they can make but if our partners aren't the right fit, I'm going to connect them to other brands, that I've nurtured those relationships throughout my career here. So I just want them to go, oh my God, that was the best use of my time. Jane, thank you so much. My client had an incredible time. And that is what happens. I have testimonials, of course, from people that have done it. So it's exciting.
So you mentioned the word client. And so I noticed on High Point by Design website that there are rules for the brands that join your community. And so if a designer was to bring their client, I noticed that you do say the brands have to list retail. Is that correct?
it's not something that, well, we suggest that and we tell them that is a good idea. It is not something that we can enforce. I mean, if a brand says, well, most of our members are not open to all. I'd say it's well, maybe it's 50-50, but some people don't even mark their prices, but we suggest that to market at retail. But there's some things, Laura, that's just hard
Yeah,
to
I mean,
enforce.
obviously, as a designer, I'm really interested in that because it protects the industry. And
Sure.
so, and I do think that selling product is such a critical part of our business model as designers. Do you get a read on that from the rest of the industry, from brands and manufacturers too, how they feel about that? I feel like
Yeah,
you're in a good position to see that.
yeah, I have to say that when HPxD first came on the scene and it was getting a lot of press, I was not involved yet. And one of the big questions from designers was, hey, you're letting consumers into your showrooms. What's that about? I've not, business as usual, I have not heard complaints from designers at all about how it's going. Like I walk into like Cohab, for example. I don't know if you've ever been to Cohab space, but it's open 6 days a week.
Okay.
Retail tags, but if you're a trade person, you give your credentials or you're already buying from them and you get a good price off that tag. Like Phillips collection, it's trade only. But if you bring your client in, they're gonna. I don't buy as a designer, right? So I think they have trade pricing. So your client,
right, they'll see it.
Will see it. I think I don't have all the answers for the best case scenario yet, but we haven't heard any problems from designers coming. Some designers would never bring a client.
We would never bring a client just because it's overwhelming. But at High Point, not at Market, that's interesting. So that's a big maybe. But
I will tell you, I mean, the two designers that I worked with in the last year, a lot of people come here and I don't even know they're here. Like, it's not like people just walk by or, downtown, there's no like restaurant where everybody goes, right? It's High Point's weird like that, and at least not yet. But for the designers that I help, like their clients have the best time. And one of their clients went back and told her friend, and, I got to go behind the scenes. I got to meet the chief marketing officer. They gave us swatches, whatever. They gave us beautiful lunch. The friend said, wait a minute, I want to go. Like, I actually think for some designers might say, you know what, this is cool. I could do.
I get it from that perspective. Like you're giving them a like look behind the curtain of how we do things, and you're being treated like a VIP. I could see how a client would enjoy that. Certain ones, not all, but certain.
And if you go into a flagship that's beautiful, where the brand is represented, and that client you've been trying to sell them on Varellen or
or like Bernhardt's new showroom,
and then they're like, I get it, I'm seduced by this brand, then it's much easier for you to sell. I mean, when you go into a store with multiple brands, sure, sometimes a brand might have a nice vignette or a little capsule area, but it's nothing like the showrooms. It's nothing like the brand presence you get at an iCults or
it's so true.
Bernhardt or Carrying Company. I mean, it's just, there's nothing like really being in the midst of the best representation. And this is one thing. So Market, everybody's on their best, it's like the flowers and it's all that. Well, as you get farther away from Market, the first thing after Market is people send their things out for photo shoots, right? Or they'll disrupt the beautiful showroom for photo shoots. And some companies are a little more like, oh, it's a mess. But I will tell you, as you will know, a designer kind of loves a little bit of that mess as much as, you love the presentation.
Mhm.
Like they're letting you in, without their makeup. Like you get to kind of look behind and go, oh, like, what's that? So they're letting you in. It feels very much like a privilege. And that's something I always tell our clients, like, you got to get over it, because designers don't mind.
We don't mind. We
So
do mind our clients seeing trade pricing, though. I'm just going to, I'm going to leave that there for your
No,
vendors that will listen to this. I will
and you
leave
know
that
what?
there.
Thank
We would
you.
come in all day.
Right. I mean, like I said, we recommend that, but it's hard to enforce it. And
Totally.
but they'll hear it from you, and that will
Yep.
give them, that's what they need.
Yes.
They're sick of me by the end of the day, but hearing it from a designer, sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's
Good.
better for them too,
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
better for the entire industry. Well, I would just want to say, like, for a designer who is wanting to come to High Point outside of market, what can they expect? Like, what are some, just like 3 things that, like, oof, that's really going to make that trip worth it?
Right. Well, they can expect having time with it depends where they're from, but with either a rep or a somebody that is at their base here in High Point. So they'll have time, and when people rubberneck during market, they'll have like very focused time with somebody to learn how to work that brand or to get product knowledge. If they want to, if you want, like, there are a lot of design associates that have never seen a sofa being made. And how do you sell a luxury sofa if you've never seen it being made?
Totally.
Well, we can help you schedule a tour of a factory that's here, so you can really see it and learn how to sell it. So they can expect, behind the scenes tours, if that's something that would serve them. They can expect uninterrupted time with representatives from that brand. And they can expect, I mean, they'll get me. I always say, like, what's the benefit of joining HPxD or coming? I mean, if I'm not away doing something else, like, I'm happy to help you do that. Come here and kind of recommend where you should go. They'll find parking. They'll find if it's not HPU move-in weekend or the
Melissa's like, parking.
Parking. You
are so
get reservations at hotels and at restaurants in High Point. So it'll be quiet. You might meet the mayor. I mean,
not guaranteed, but
not guaranteed. It's just it's very, our city is very accessible and it's very warm.
I like the mention of education, like that, going to an actual manufacturer and seeing how something is actually made. That's so huge. And not just for people that are brand new to the industry, also for seasoned designers that just may not have seen it in a long time, or that have teams and that team has never seen it before. I think some people have probably never seen 8-way hand tied in action. Right. Or the different types of components. And now I'm going to nerd out on it, so I'll stop there. But it sounds like education's a big part of it for you.
Yeah. When I said earlier that I was going to leave the industry, like, it was for education. And, what I do, as an editor, I felt like it was an opportunity to educate with every story, right? And now at HPxD, I feel like, opening up, like, for designers to open up their eyes, discover something new. We plan education, going behind the scenes. There's nothing like it. Just fill your cup with knowledge, but it's inspiring. Education is like fun in our industry, I think.
Yeah.
And it helps your business.
I agree.
Yeah.
I have been to High Point one time outside of market event. So I did the row designer, what was it called, Melissa?
Did you do one of those vignettes?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And so I got to go, and I say got to go because this was before HPxD. And so people didn't go outside of market. And I thought it was just the coolest thing, but it was really quiet. But I did get to see the showroom disrupted, I guess, for lack of a better term. And I got to go back behind the scenes and like look at their sourcing closet and just really dream with that particular brand. And I thought it was such a cool experience. So I love the idea of kind of traipsing around these enormous showrooms and being almost the only one in there. I think that sounds cool.
Well, yeah, I don't know if this would freak people out, but another one of my sort of taglines, because I play with these, words a lot, is high point all to yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, that might be like, oh, that sounds like nothing.
No one wants to go to a ghost town. However,
the other thing, about HPxD, because we've done quite a bit of programming around like neurodiversity and other things. Not everybody enjoys shopping with a crowd. Like that's just not everybody's thing. Some people get overwhelmed. So, but why should this fabulous city that's such an amazing resource then be off limits to somebody that's not that? Or, a lot of people are like, I'm scared to go to High Point. Well, there are those wonderful, the insider tours, which get you integrated. But we also look at HPxD as a gateway for those people that just really want to get the lay of the land before they commit to market. And so, I just think we operate like between HPxD and the High Point market. It's like, have your cake and eat it too. Like just High Point's here for you, and that rhymed actually.
There you go.
So yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting to be part of the change of a city, I have to say.
It's such a cool city too. I think when I get there in October, I'm going to be ready to talk to a realtor.
You go on Zillow and look at High Point sometimes.
We're actually, Melissa and I are staying in High Point this time, which we've never done before. So I'm really curious to see what that's like, just being very contained. We won't have really a reason to go outside of the city. So this will be a first for us. And hopefully that parking situation, Melissa, is going to be easy.
Are you staying in a rental or at a hotel?
We're staying at a hotel, the brand new Spring Hill Suites.
So yes, which is so exciting. So I can see the Spring Hill Suites from my office because the visitor center is right there. And, yeah,
we are pumped.
Yeah, that's exciting. We watched mattresses coming in last week. There's big trucks, emptying out, other product for it.
They're getting ready for us. Well, we'll be the guinea pigs at Spring Hill Suites right in High Point. So we can't wait. And we're also going to host a workshop intensive at Cognitive Yards. So I'm really excited about that too. We're going to be.
What day are you doing that?
The 24th, the Friday.
Awesome.
Yep.
I will
You're
actually
first to hear it. It hasn't even been announced yet. So
okay, I'll be there also at Condon Yards on the 24th with another educational event. So
fantastic.
Yeah, it's. You've been to Condon Yards before?
No.
Well, it's all right there, and
I'm
right
there.
I know. Yeah, it's like the Catalyst District or the Social District they call it. Anyway, you're going to have such a good time, being living like a local for a day.
I know.
Sort of.
We are all in. I love High Point. I think it's great. I think it's wonderful during market. I love the energy of market. I love the networking. I think it's wonderful outside of market, like the small town feel, and really getting to know the town. So yeah, I think there's something there for everyone.
Yeah,
that's so good. I'm excited that you're coming and you're staying in the town.
We're in the heart of it. We're in the mix.
I was a little bummed that the hotel isn't having a like a bar, like a restaurant. Like
they aren't. I'm so uninformed.
The Spring Hill Suites generally gives you a nice breakfast, so they have to have some kind of something. But I was like, is there a restaurant? Is there a place to have an event? But I don't think they're doing that. I think it's really like you stay here, we'll give you a great stay.
Well, we'll just hang out at the yards.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be great. Oh, that's so good.
We're having a mix of both. Melissa, we're right at time. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, we're right at time. I just want to ask one question, like outside of design and everything that you're doing, what's one thing that really sparks your creativity or fills your cup?
Gosh, I would say travel, getting on an airplane, going someplace new, and just going into an antique mall. Antique shopping to me just opens up my head, and that is related to probably what we do. But
yeah,
I just it's like a dip into history. You never know what you're going to find. It's just
a sense of discovery.
It's fun.
You got to stay.
Where are you going next?
Well, I'm going to Philadelphia for a wedding, and that is my hometown. So not
Okay.
super exotic, but it's good emotionally for me. And so that is Labor Day weekend.
Oh, that'll be fun though. Philadelphia.
Yeah, and
Philly for Labor Day.
I know, and then it's going to be like, bam. But yeah. So, and then I have, we have some beautiful nature here in High Point too, and I've got some kayaking coupons. So I want to kind of just go out on the lake and have a nature day. So,
lovely.
before we get back to school.
Right.
So important, nature days.
Yeah. So, yeah, well, so I'll see you both soon, right?
We'll see you in October, if not before.
Thank you for the opportunity to talk about HPxD.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for listening. Make sure to check out our next podcast, coming live next week on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. In the meantime, you can find us and more wonderful stories like these on design-.com. And make sure to follow us at Design Dasher on Instagram and TikTok. Till next time.